What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video. Golden Hashira here, and today we are going to be sort of reviewing the first chapter of a manga called Choujin X, which is, I think it translates to Superhuman X or something like that. And this is the next manga, the latest manga series created by Sui Ishida, which is the creator who made Tokyo Ghoul. And like with this manga, there are definitely some similarities between Choujin X and Tokyo Ghoul, especially when it comes to the characters, like the main character, of course, and how he basically reminds me of Kaneki. I know I just said that wrong. Anyway, so it starts out with a young girl on a plane transporting tomatoes to a fair. Basically she was going in place of her grandfather because I think he was sick or something like that. So an old lady who sat next to her questions what the girl's plans are, like after she won first place or whatever for the fair. And then the girl explains like the I think like because like it was a cash prize, of course, and then like the stuff that she'll buy with the money that she won from the contest. So literally all of a sudden a strange man appears and is trying to get past the old lady because I think he has to go to the bathroom, but she wasn't moving quick enough. So he attempts to hit the old lady, but the young girl held his hand back. And just then some strange substance, it was likely like fire, coming out of this man's like fingertips or something, like black smoke coming from it. And people just abruptly just spontaneously combust in the flames. And now the little girl also ignites on fire. So it's pretty gruesome. Like, I mean, it wasn't like gory or anything, but I mean, it does get a little gory a little bit later. So that's when you can start to see some of the Tokyo Ghoul vibes. But I mean, so far since I read this chapter, I know it's only the first chapter, so I can't really compare it to Tokyo Ghoul yet. But yeah, Tokyo Ghoul was much more gory. Especially like the first part of like the first chapter of Tokyo Ghoul. Um, if I remember. So now we like switch scenes to the actual MC because I'm gonna be real. I thought the little girl was the MC at first. Like I got thrown for a loop for a second, but no, it wasn't the main character. So the main character is actually a second year high school student who is named Tokyo, like literally Tokio, Tokyo Kurahara. Kurahara. Kind of said that a little too fast. So he's 16 years old and he was thinking about the plane while attempting to answer a math equation about planes in math class. That's like it's really a lot about planes in this first like in the first few pages of this chapter. Um so Tokyo sees a girl being harassed in the streets, and then like obviously it was by some thugs, and he calls someone named Azuma to rush to her aid. And Azuma is basically like his partner, his friend, or whatever. He knew him ever since he was like a little kid, or a toddler, or whatever. So Azuma runs towards one of the thugs, and this is where the action just starts pretty much immediately. I mean, besides the plane scene, and he breaks one of the thugs like arms, both of them with one kick. I'm like, oh my god! It's literally bone just popped out his arms. Like, ugh, it was nasty, but it was cold. So in doing so, it scared off the other thugs that were like messing with her. And then that's when we were greeted to Azuma. His full name is Azuma Higashi, who is the partner of Tokyo Kurahara. And then the lady thanks them before heading off to an interview. So it was like we got a little bit of action, like I said, with the plane scene at the beginning, and now Azuma rushes in and then breaks both arms of like the leader of the thugs who were harassing the lady. So Azuma informs Tokyo about the recent plane crash, which was a terrorist attack that was led by a Choujin, which I believe translates to superhuman. And Tokyo had already seen it during math class because he was just like dozing off when his teacher asked him to solve the math equation about planes. So we see the thug from earlier whose arms was like just broken. And he couldn't type on his computer because he had literally two casts on both his arms. To buy his mother an air mattress. So a mysterious person appears claiming that he could fix both of his arms, carrying a strange syringe. So yeah, that's technically not that's not shady at all. Azuma and Tokyo arrive at the scene of the plane crash as volunteers, and there happen to be about, I believe, 200 survivors. Because I don't think anybody actually died, because it didn't like explicitly state that. It just said it was 200 survivors. So that's why I said, like, did anybody actually die, or was it not the strange man's plan to kill them, but to infect them? Gotta ask yourself that. So on the way back, the thug from earlier literally comes out of nowhere and smacks Azuma in the face with one of his casts. Because his arms have been completely healed, so he breaks out of the cast, and then he kicks Azuma into a wall, but Azuma decides to fight back, and he kicks the thug in the face. But here comes the kicker. Literally. It didn't affect him at all because the thug was injected with whatever was in that syringe, so I'm assuming he got turned into a Choujin as well, which he did. So he's able to stretch like he's Mr. Fantastic or Luffy from One Piece. And we get the full name of the thug, whose name is Johnny Kiyoshi Takeyama, who is known as the Flexi Choujin. So he proceeds to kill his own underlings. As their heads explode, Tokyo grabs Azuma and runs away. Oh boy. Azuma then points to a syringe that was used to turn Johnny into a Choujin and grabs the syringe and attempts to use it on himself. So apparently there was actually two syringes instead of one. So just before that happens, Tokyo snatches the syringe from Azuma and then he tries to use it on himself. But like I said, it was actually two syringes. So they injected each other, and or it's like inferred that they injected each other. So Johnny pursues the two and he found Tokyo and attacked them. But this time Tokyo fights back, and not Azuma, but Tokyo, and he's in his new form, which is known as the Bestial Choujin, and he looks like that of a vulture. So I think this is where the symbolic element kicks in, because I believe a little bit earlier in the chapter, we had a flashback when I believe it was when Azuma and Tokyo met for the first time at like a zoo or something, and they were just playing around drawing like different animals, and Tokyo wanted to be like a lion or whatever, but like he was getting bullied and people were saying like he was a vulture. And then Ozma was basically just trying to comfort him, saying like, even if you are a vulture, like you basically like you can still do stuff. Like he didn't say it like exactly like that, but that was basically the gist of what he was saying. And so he basically embraced vultures like ever since then, and he literally had like a picture, a painting of a vulture hung up in his room. So I like that aspect of how the mangaka used that, used the animal as sort of like symbolism. Thought that was pretty cool. So I would say like lastly, we see Azuma laid out on the ground, and we just wonder to ourselves, like, did he actually get injected with the serum, or did he pass out before getting injected? I mean, because like then again, he could have gotten injected with the serum, but unlike Tokyo, the serum actually reacted to him a bit differently. So we probably won't get to see what his powers are until a later chapter. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to reading more chapters of like future chapters of this. I don't know what the release schedule of this is, because I believe they said Ishida can basically release a chapter whenever he wants, and he doesn't have to like meet any deadlines. So I think that's cool, and I think that way, at least if it's like bi-weekly or at least monthly, that way it's better because you can pace yourself for one, and then go back and reread it if you need to. So I think that's pretty cool. So let me know in the comments if you all want me to continue like reviewing this series, because so far I'm liking it, to be honest. Cause like the thing with like Tokyo Ghoul, I like Tokyo Ghoul as well, but it was with that last season of the anime. I'm not gonna talk about that anyway. Um, yeah, I did not want to talk about Tokyo Ghoul, but I'm pretty sure like as more chapters come out, we'll start to see more similarities between this series and Tokyo Ghoul. So I mean, I guess it won't hurt to talk about from time to time. To time. But yeah, this is all the time I have for this video. I hope you all have enjoyed it, and if so, please don't forget to hit that like button and also subscribe. And don't forget to like leave a comment about what you all think about this first chapter. And as well, join my Discord. The link will be in the description below if you want to have a chat about anything anime related or just life in general. Yeah, I'm open to that. So, golden hashira out. I hope you all have enjoyed it, and peace out, everybody. Stay safe.